G'day guys, welcome to the channel, and today is a national day. It's a national boombox. Very nice piece of gear these are beautiful. Looking forward to working on this. The owner said that the problem with this one, there's a some sort of hiccup with the volume. Now I'm suspecting just a dirty pot or something along those lines on the volume, and it's left and right on this. So okay, there's no balance, it's left and right, and bass and treble. These sound $1 million when they're going. These are a top machine. And well, looking at the cassette, he also did inform me that there is a little problem in here with one of the spindles, and I can see what he means. Okay guys, we'll go over this, have a bit of a look at it, and a bit of an evaluation on what's got to be done with this. This could be a fairly big job, it could be simple, but these are not the easiest things to work on. There's a bit to getting them apart mainly. So anyway, let's have a look. Now, the model number of this, by the way, is an RX-50F. Okay, so RX-50F. I don't have any diagrams or anything on this at the moment. If I do, they'll go onto Google Drive and it'll be in the description. Maybe a circuit. Maybe I might be able to round up the owner's manual on this, but we certainly don't need that for what's got to be done with this. Okay, let's get into it. To make this a little bit easier, I will be taking the speakers off, and I'll show you how all that happens. But there we go. I'll just show you, if I can get down here, everything that's happening here. Now, the tape, I did mention, yes, it has a problem, and you can see the problem there. The spool, the rewind spool, is actually missing. Okay, so that's going to be, where can I get the light for you? There. Well, can I focus there? Yeah, you can see it anyway. And of course, a lot of, just try and get the light in there for you. There you go. Okay, you can see, if I can get it focused there. Yep. A lot of gunk in the bottom there. So the deck, of course, has to come out, and we'll try from this. This is all soft touch control. It is not touch control, but soft touch. So yeah, the buttons, it's all gear driven, the mechanism in and out, so forth. So it's not piano key or anything like that. There we go. So apparently there's a problem here with these two top volume ones, or one of them, or something. Tuning, well, yeah, he works okay, nice and smooth. Tape counter, you've got a VU meter here. Okay, phones, two sets of headphones or earphones, whatever you've got. Headphones, obviously, and you can have two of those. On top, there we go, there's all about it. RX-50F, and yeah, shortwave 1, shortwave 2, FM and medium wave. Level mixing, okay, so that'd be for your microphones, which is actually in there. You've got left and right microphones, so you can talk or sing along or do whatever you want. Okay, record, mute, Dolby, and your selector. You can see everything there anyway. Okay, and well, let's have a look around the back. Not a lot to say here. Both the speakers plug in and they do come off either side of the main unit. Aerial rod all looks okay. We better check in here because we always want to check our battery compartments. No corrosion, guys. There we go. Now down here, a square type. This is a square type power cable. It is not a figure 8. Looks like it, but it's not. They are very square. You can cut the sides of a figure 8 and get it to fit in there, but bit of a hassle. Here you've got DC in at 13.2 volts, it says. So just a external power, if I can hold it still. And line in, line out, which is very handy, isn't it? Line in for Bluetooth. Easy. And a small Bluetooth module would fit here in the battery compartment. So really you could modify this to slip Bluetooth in here as easy as anything. And I'm sure we'd have 5 volts running around inside this thing somewhere. If not, a little 78 LO5 or something, or a low power regulator would get you 5 volts for your Bluetooth. And well, these don't really want to come out. Okay, here we go. So there's our cabling for our speaker. Now we probably will need this. Well, we've got to clean this up a bit. The whole thing will be cleaned anyway when we're doing it. So we will take this whole cable out. There we go. And there. 3.5 mono 4H speaker. Now there's one of these that wants to come out by itself, not this one. Slide him up and there he is. Little mechanism there for releasing the speaker. And I think this part must be broken on the other speaker because it wants to depart all by itself. We'll unplug him and yes, straight up. There we go. Okay, we're narrowing him down now, and our little clip, yes, is broken, and the little spring that pushes it, well, all this is broken here. This piece here and this piece on the main case is broken out, so there's not much we can do with that. Mind you, unless he tips it upside down, well, this speaker stays in place. I'll also pull this one out. A little bit of a spider web in there where he's been hiding, so we'll just give this a clean before it goes back to the customer, if we can get all this working. Righto. Now, this is the unit that we need to work on. I'm stating the obvious there because I'm thinking of what's next, as we do on the channel. Bear with me. Plugging the speakers back in. Okay, but at least we can work on the unit and still have the speakers away. And, well, now there's our plug. As you can see, it's not a figure 8. It's a rectangle plug. And it goes straight in there. A figure 8 will not plug into that. Very difficult anyway. You would break something. Okay, here we go. Now, okay, we're on tape. Radio.
I just want
And we're going. And we've got volume right down. Okay, right hand, yeah. Left hand.
In jail for what you say. Now, who is going to be the boss who says this is inciting fear into a community? Like, if I go and say to someone, oh, mate, you're a bit overweight, as an example, like, this is obviously exaggerated.
It's not going right down to zero. It's not turning off.
We've imported 3,000 Gazans into the country because, as the surveys indicated, they are still supportive of Hamas and what Hamas did on October 7. We should be very of that.
And
if that
up here we've got radio switch.
You know, public servant or any kind of
seems okay.
official.
What have we got here? We got FM. And let's.
Where everything followed the same kind of Greek trajectory of narrative function that we had already.
That will have to undergo first.
I'll tell you what, this has got a good radio, huh?
I was feeling very sheepish about projecting into the future.
Now, that didn't come up when I first turned that up.
So well and inventively and bravely in that book. She does something with her prose that I find incredibly inspiring, which is that she just sort of like defamiliarizes the world with every
now
sentence.
The volume's up quite loud
that she writes
with them
is
backed off. Yes, there is a problem here.
That you've never read before. And she also she has this wonderful quote which I wrote down on one of her applications for a good short story, is that there should be a clean, clear surface.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Right. Okay, guys. you can see the problem there. Yes. Obviously a dry joint or something like that in behind here, maybe, or on one of the plugs. Yeah, don't know. But boy, it goes pretty loud. All right. Let's unplug him. Get rid of the speakers. And let's have a look here to get this out. So, obviously a screw there, one there. There'll be one in there, one here, maybe a couple up here. And I think that should get the back off or the front off or something. But anyway, I'll start doing that and we'll come back. You don't have to see the screws this time. I'll just tell you which ones. Right, guys, now what I've done, this one, and those two so far. Not these two at the moment, because I think they've got something to do with under here with the power supply or something. I think I have taken the knobs off. Okay, these little fellas. Eject that, and I think the front comes off this thing. Still something holding. There seems to be something holding up in around here, this area. Oh no, there's not. No, it's just clipped in. We have to get our door off the front of our cassette. Now, that should just come up. There we go. A little bit tight, but that comes off okay. Right, okay, we're getting there. And, well, there we go. Now, Okay, it's one of these boards with the tracks actually printed on with carbon, and these can be very problematic. I would say that probably the problem is probably on this little board here where the where everything is. There's a screw there, a screw there. We've got to unclip this, and then that's plugged in down on the bottom here. So hopefully this is the only hassle. Now, as for everything else, it comes out forward out of this. So I don't know how many of these have got to come out, or what happens here. Like, is that, yeah, but don't know yet. But, and we'll have a look at this. That could be, I don't know what that microphone input may be. I don't know. Okay. And these little carbon tracks can be very, very problematic. So we'll just unscrew this for the moment and have a look at the board and do a visual inspection of what it could be. And does that come forward? Yes, I think it does. There we go. Okay. Okay, renowned for dry joints along these fellas, and of course on the baseboard. Just looking at this, doesn't really look like any dry joints. That's your volume controls there. Okay, your fine tuning is there. Okay, doesn't look anything obvious with that at all. Now, the deck has to come out of this. We know this. We've got to take the deck out to fix up this problem here, and try and, well, find another one in here that will fit. I thought maybe it could have fallen inside this. There's still a chance that it may be in here, but we'll see. Now, to get the deck out, there's one there, one up here. Okay. And that appears as though it's all. There's some screws falling out of the back, and they're quite long screws because they actually go in from the back and attach in behind the front panel here to hold it on. Microphone. Okay, there's probably dry joints on this. We've got to get this out, and, well, we've got to get it sitting on the bench to do this out of the case. All right, I'll try and get this deck out, and we'll see how we go. We may have to take more out from the front. We do have a dial cord in here, mixed in with this, and it actually goes up around the corner in behind here. Everything is so solid. There is a screw in there and one in there, and I'm thinking, well, if I bring this forward, okay, this might be, this might just come off that fella. Okay, let's try this. We've got to get this apart. Okay. As I've said before in videos, just keep unscrewing and, well, eventually it's got to fall apart, isn't it? This fella. That does not want to come at all. There's a little screw in the center of this, but I certainly don't want to undo that, because I think that holds, well, it holds something in there. Don't know. I'm just going to pause the camera for a minute and have a bit of a closer look at what's got to happen here. Okay, well, what's got to happen is that little screw from the inside of there has to come out, and it looks like all this, including the drum and the dial string, comes out in one hit. There we go, and all this stays intact, and I'm not going to move that very much, guys, but what a nice little system. Needs a bit of a clean up, but that's pretty cute, isn't it? And yes, he turns okay, and he actually, there's his alignment mark. Right there. Right, okay, well, we're not touching that, we're cleaning that up later. Okay, we're getting further into this. Still don't know what this is. Microphone maybe, I don't know, it goes on the front board. The microphone is there. Okay, tape deck still doesn't come out, nothing moves. Oh boy. Okay, let's revisit our 3 screws here. This one, and this one. May as well get them out. Okay, they're only short. I hope this is not a multi-part series, but just looking at it, it's not looking real promising for a short video. And you know I like showing you things, what I do. Okay. Now that's definitely all the screws are out. Well, there's one more. Let's take the aerial off. There we go. Right. Everything is out. One thing we haven't got off here is our mixing knob. The other ones, well, I'm not, yes, they do come off. Okay, so I'll take them off. And of course these fellas, well, they must slide under because, yeah, they just don't come out. And looking at this again, still nothing. Is there another part to this? Hang on. What's going on here? Ah, okay. There is it appears to be held by something over here. Now I did get that screw out, did I? Yes. That screws out. Doesn't want to come there. Everywhere else, the back is moving. Ah, guys, there is one in here. Now, I don't know whether I've missed it or it's... Yes, I have. There we go. Small one. Let's see. Ah, okay. Ah. Okay, here we go. And more screws are falling out. Inside the back. Fairly dirty. Got to be cleaned up. Now, here we go. We can actually run this now. Would have been an idea to take the back off first, but anyway, we can actually run this and see where there is a problem. RCA sockets, well, that's not the problem, but renowned for dry joints on them. And our tape deck is over in here. So it's these wires here that are causing it not to budge for us. Okay. We'll snip this tie off. And what have we got here? We've got our head wires, or head socket there. We don't need the tape at the moment. We've got to take it out, but we can check the radio without the tape in there. Okay, erase head out. And now probably our control and motor wires. There. Now, can we get... Yes, we can. Now, it's hooked up on the side there. Okay. Well, something's happening here, guys. It's coming out. Slowly. Here we go. Right, there's our tape deck. So at least now we can work on this, and yeah, you can see the problem. And well, as far as dirt and everything's concerned, yeah, she's fairly grotty in there. Needs a good clean, probably new belts. And a little spring's come off here, and now this spring is for the door, and he sits, when he goes back in, he sits up like that and springs the door open. Okay, so otherwise, well, yeah, door's not real good. So that's where that spring goes, is a door spring. Okay, so the tape deck we'll put aside. We'll be probably doing it in part 2. Now, what we're going to do here is we'll get this going again and try and can we get this going out of the case? Nothing, everything's so solid in here, nothing moves. And there's no screws left. There is one screw down in there. Yes, there is. There is a little screw. Where is he? down in there. You can probably see him there. Can we get at him? Bit of an angle, but we should be able to get him there. There we go. Okay. And this board here actually slides out forward, but I'd still like to have all this out of the case and then put it together and see what happens. This can't go forward, it's got to go back. Oh boy, guys, this one's a little bit of a trick. I don't quite know. We'll unplug that fella. What is holding this? Yeah, there are some plugs down there that plugs into this main board, and as I'm pushing it out, they are unplugging, but it's got to come out. Well, guys, it's just a matter of each end, I think. I think the board is actually jammed in the slides, and it doesn't want to come out easily, like it is gradually coming out. And also, when we're doing this, in around the power supply here, we'll be checking capacitors. A lot of electrodes in this. National electrodes, I would say. So probably all okay. And here we go. We're gradually getting there. I'm sorry this is taking so long. Oh, nearly. Here we go. Oh boy, and there she is out. And yes, there's not glue, but there's all sorts of rubbish in the tracks. So there we go, there's our main board, and of course we've got to go over it with a fine tooth comb and find out, well, where these dry joints are. Very sus along this fella here where the front board plugs in. I would say this is certainly dry joints. So all areas here, the output chip is there, which is this fella. It's a HA something or other from memory. So yeah, do all the connections. Okay. So now we've got to get this board out to plug into this one to try it. Okay, let me investigate it and I'll come back. Alright guys, well, we've got everything ready there now. We'll both speakers are plugged in, boards are in, should fire up. Yes, it does. And, well, we've got silence when we've turned right down, so that's a little bit different. A little bit different to what it was. Something may have been disturbed there. Okay. Now, we're on FM and medium wave No, we're on medium wave. There's FM, and yeah, well, our switch up here is dirty. That's one problem. That's tape, radio. Okay, but what we're looking for, just turn him down there so it doesn't annoy the hell out of you. What we're looking for is very, very loud. I mean, this thing started up really, really loud, as you heard, when we started moving things around. And, well, got a bit of a blinky eye here, which indicates a dirty connection somewhere. You can see that. Solid there. I know that's the indicator, the signal strength indicator, but maybe just on the brink. But I did see it go off there. Okay. And our record play switch, what's he like? Yeah, very dirty. Extremely dirty, but still not what we were looking for. We were looking for a variances of volume, and well, when we turn it right down, we could still hear it, as though there was a dodgy ground on here somewhere. Turn him around here. And, well, you guys heard it. It went very, very loud. Why, where is that dry joint? Now, that may not have been a dry joint either. It could have been a dodgy connection on one of our plug-in sockets. Okay, on the pins or in the socket. So that could be, now that we've disturbed it, it could be why it has disappeared. We can move this around. And can we make it do that again? And, whoa, yeah. Boy. Yes, we can. But up towards this end, there seems to be an earth problem that yeah, I would say, seeing it's not showing up, possibly this connector, maybe one of the other connectors on this board. We don't really know. No. Well, guys, a dry connection along here would also indicate a ground lifting off when we turned this down, and it wasn't going, wasn't muting the sound totally, it wasn't going to zero. So possibly this connector, maybe one of the others on the main board, but I would be very inclined for this one. What we're going to do, going to go through, clean all this up, and I'm going to go through and resolder most of the connectors, okay? The back of the pots, especially the connectors, the big stuff here, and then we'll go through and we'll clean our pots clean the switches. These are extremely dirty. And, well, clean everything else up. And then, once we finish that, we'll check this again and then come back to the tape deck and work out what we're going to do with him. There's a lot of cleaning necessary with that fella. Righto, I'll do all that and I'll come back, and it'll only be a few seconds for you guys. And now, just to note, when we're cleaning these and, well, getting the boards prepared, there's our pins that we've been plugged in. Now, you probably won't be able to see it, but there's a little black spot right along them where it's been sitting for years and years and years. And, well, that's what we've got to get rid of. It's, yeah, you probably, I can't get the light in the area, but there is one position when you look at it under the light that you can see where it's been. And, well, we just clean that up to make sure all these pins are nice and clean. And, of course, then we go through and resolder every one. So, a lot of work to do here. The unit is well and truly worth this. These are an unbelievable piece of gear. They are really, really nice. And I'll go and see, can I round up a manual on this too? Be handy to have. And, well, something we can put on the Google Drive. Righto, guys, that's it. I'll be back. Okay, well, we've been through the whole lot. We've resoldered all the pin connections, everything, all the sus looking dry joints, every chip, and the main connectors on your potentiometers there. Now, the same with this board. We've been right through it, lubricated the record play switch, which the tape uses. Yes, okay, we may never be recording again, but if that switch is dirty, it also stops your radio. And, well, you've got to move it around to get the radio to work with bad connections. We don't need that, so it's cleaned. All these switches, the pot's cleaned here. All these have had cleaner in them, so I've gone through, as you've seen me before, with my cleaner and put cleaning fluid in all of them. Okay, these little fellas are done, so everything's done. On the back here, I've done, well, pretty well most connections. These, I've done the switch here, that's your record play switch. There's a chip there. There's a couple of chips here, which I have reflowed, and any sus looking joints around there, as well as the actual joints on the tuning gang, which were the bigger ones there. They were a little bit sus, so yeah, done those. And, well, here's our main board. Now, I've cleaned all these pins. I've cleaned them with 1500 wet and dry, and they've been finished off with isopropyl alcohol, so they're nice and clean. I have yet to do the sockets on this fella down here, okay, where they go in. On the back, well, the transformer, of course, reflowed what holds it on the board. A couple of connectors there, both our speaker sockets, and I'm sorry about the reflection. Now, our AC socket has a little switch on the back here, so it switches from AC to battery when we plug it in. Now, strangely enough, there was on those three terminals there, those two were touching. Now, I did put the meter on them, and yes, they were touching from factory. Now, I don't know what happens or what that causes, but certainly wouldn't do the batteries any good, because you're feeding AC in where the battery line is. So, well, DC rather. It's switching DC, not AC. It's switching from your DC power supply over to the DC from the batteries. And, well, it would have tried, by the look of it, would have tried to charge the D cells. But anyway, we'll suss that out. This one here, external power in, had dry joints, reflowed the speaker, and that chip, of course the output chip, and, well, the two connectors, which are there, certainly did those. This connector here, yes, reflowed all that. And the microphone sockets were very sus. Not that they're ever used, but they did have dry joints around them. So there it is, guys. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to put a little bit of spray in this socket, the same in those two, and we'll put it together, put the speakers on, and hopefully I haven't shorted anything, I haven't made any mistakes with my soldering. This has taken almost a full day to get this exactly how I wanted it. Of course, after we finished it, we cleaned the board with isopropyl and then heated it up so that it gets all nice and not gooey anymore. Okay, enough talking from me. Let's put it together. Okay, it's just a matter of lining those little fellas up down the bottom there and pushing him on. There we go. Quite easy to work on these once they're out of the case. It's a matter of getting it out of the case. Now, a little bit of spray along with those. And we'll put these back in. Where are we? There we go. Right, just give him a bit of a wriggle so it cleans it a little bit. Okay, I don't know what this one is, but anyway, I plug it in anyway. Probably doesn't need it. And that's about it. So I'll get my speakers now. We'll plug them in, get some power, and oh boy, I hope this still works. Volume's right down. Okay. Let's hook the speakers up. And at this point, this is where we start praying that everything still works. Nothing goes up in smoke or anything like that. Okay. That's good. We're, what are we on? Function switch. We'll put him on tape so that nothing springs into gear straight away. Or springs into action. Okay. There we go. We've got power. Let's see here. Okay, we've got a red light, which is good. Oh. And we've got both channels, which is good. Okay, that's FM. AM. And as I said, I don't want to move the tuning gang. I want it to stay as is. But all good. And we have both channels. Right hand channel, left hand channel, treble, working nicely, bass, working nicely. Well guys, there it is. There's the unit itself. We can actually put the boards back in the cabinet, but of course I've got to clean the cabinet. So there we go. She's all working, and that should never ever fail with any sort of well, loose connections or anything like that, but she should be right. Okay, I'll go and clean up the case and give us a look at putting it together. And it might be easier than what it was pulling it apart, mightn't it? Now guys, just before we start putting things together, had a bit of a thought here. We've got line in, sitting here, goes up to the switch. We've got 12 volts in here. You hearing what I'm saying? How about we fit one of these? Okay, left and right. Yes, we need 5 volts. Well, we can easily do a mod on this for 5 volts. In actual fact, there's a heap of space here. There's lots of space. And in actual fact, that little board could mount right in there. There is a couple of tracks that run underneath, which is AC, so yeah, mightn't be a good idea to mount it like that, but we could mount him just in there with a little L bracket, just like so. There's plenty of space in this unit, and he would sit inside there. The owner would be fairly impressed to have Bluetooth integrated with this little jobby. So you don't have to do anything. You put the select the switch on line in, and you've got Bluetooth. Now, what we need really is we'll need a circuit, and we need our select the switch, which is, where is it? It's this one. So the line in position, we need a couple of spares on this. I don't know whether there's any spares to well, ignite our 5 volts to the Bluetooth module, to this fella. I'm going to get my circuit and let's have a look and see, can we do this? This would be very, very impressive. Yes, we've got audio here, but we really need to switch Bluetooth. But worst comes to the worst, we do have one of these little switches here. Let's we might be able to find something along the line radio switch. Yeah, let's get a circuit. Let's work this out and surprise the owner, Mark, of a Bluetooth module integrated into this thing. This would sound $1 million. These are a nice unit. Right, guys. Well, we've got the Bluetooth working on this. Now, I didn't go through the whole thing with you. I'm just going to show you what I did and what I had to do. Now, the switch on this, we've got line input, we've got radio, and we've got tape. Okay, so that's our mode switch on this little fella. Now, to our advantage, the mode switch on line in had a spare terminal. Now, if you're following along with this, you might have one of these units. There's lots of them around. I'm just going to show you a quick look of where it is on the circuit, so that if you're doing one, you know what to look for. Okay, for a start, we're looking for the point where there's a spare terminal, and I'll show you what it does. Now, guys, bear with me while I work my way around this this iPad. I'm not used to doing things like this, but it's about time I learnt. Line in and line out are down here. Now, if you've got the circuit diagram, you will have this. Now, I hope that that effect isn't happening on your end. Sort of a blurry, gauzy effect. But anyway, we'll continue. Okay, so on this plug here, CP5, that's where I took my audio in on this plug here. 8 was our shielded ground, 9 is right, and 10 is left. So I just soldered onto those points. Okay, well, actually onto these points on the socket. And that gives us left and right input. Now, the original left and right in for 200 millivolts in had a couple of 47Ks. I've actually had to reduce those resistors to 39K to get our levels correct, that's level with the radio when we switch to the radio. Okay, so that's that bit. Now, the other bit as far as switching is concerned, and this is our radio tape switch. Number 4, if I can get all this in the picture. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so pin number 4, S4-6. Okay, now this switch is S4. That's S4 up here, that's bank 5, this is bank 6. Now, pin number 4 actually switches 7.8 volts. Now, if we go back over here, we can see the regulator. I'm not going to move the, well, I may move it a bit, it'll probably jump everywhere. 12 volts in, and 7.8 volts comes across here and is on the switch on pin number 4. So that is the tape position. If we go to the radio position, we're on pin number 2, and if we go to line in, we're on pin number 3, and as you can see, it's vacant. So when I switch, I've got to think about this, when I switch pin 4, well, to line, we get 7.8 volts here. Okay, so that's our on-off voltage. You go back to radio, this disappears, back to 0 volts. So there's our cue for our Bluetooth. Okay, so what have I done? 7.8 volts was probably not the best thing in the world to have with a 5 volt USB. So what I've done, here's our switch. I'll keep using my pointer. Here's our switch here. There's a vacant pin here. I actually have a little regulator here, a 78L05. I've connected to the 7.8 volt pin to ground, and we've got 5 volts out on our blue lead for our Bluetooth. Okay, it runs down in the back here to the Bluetooth module. I also have a green ground lead there, so it runs in the back as well. So I used just a standard everyday 78L05, and if we look at these terminals, we can see the top one there is all by himself. You probably can't, it's very difficult to see anyway, but the top one there is our line, the middle one is radio, and the bottom one there is tape, and the one underneath that is our, well, call it a wiper, that's got 7.8 volts switched on it, on the switch itself. Okay, 7.8 coming in. Now, around the back, I set all this up, and guys, I had so much noise, it wasn't funny. Digital noise. So we had a ground problem. And, well, as we know, we should all know this by now, putting in Bluetooth modules can be a bit troublesome, especially where you've got all sorts of windings in the vintage radio of 6.3 and things where they're floating. You need an isolated ground. So, to cure this feedback problem, I made up a little well, a board here, and it has one of these fellas on it. Okay, now this is a B0505S-1W. It's a 5 volt in, 5 volts out, totally isolated, a little, well, converter. Not a buck converter, it's I don't know how these things work inside actually, but so convenient. So you put your ground and your 5 volts from your radio in there, and you've got ground and 5 volts totally isolated out for your Bluetooth module. That fixed the problem 100%. So there's our line, goes to the Bluetooth module. Here is our 2 resistors, and they are, what did I say, 39k each on those fellas, and our ground obviously soldered to a ground point on, well, it's actually on the the micro USB socket. Over here we did have an LED, and it was a surface mount LED, so we had to I want to put an LED on the front of this radio, so we're looking for a place now, and this works fine. This is a high bright LED, so very small current drain on this and high brightness. So there it is. When all this is done and this goes back in the cabinet, that will mount in there. This will go around the front and job's done. Alright, so now I'm looking, well, at the front here. Where do I put this Bluetooth LED? You need to be able to see it. There has been one of my suggestions is we have 2 headphone sockets, remove one and put it in there. That would sort of make sense. We do have a noise, Dolby noise reduction spot there, but I don't think I want to put it in there. There's no room along the dial to put anything like that, so it's sort of looking in here. This is could be the spot for it. Okay, so the owner will never use any more than 1 pair of headphones at once. Well, I don't think he will. So we'll keep thinking, and yeah, we'll see what we come up with. So there it is. There's the update of how I've fitted Bluetooth. A lot of mucking around here. I'm hopeless at explaining things to you. So I hope you get the gist of... getting the gist. I hope you understand to a certain point what the DC-DC converter does, and how it isolates our ground from the ground of the radio. The ground of this, totally isolated with the power supply. And, well, it fixed it. We can go full volume there, and there is 0 noise. And before, it was terrible. Righto, guys. Well, we're going to make up something to mount this little fella in here. This board here has to go in the actual case of the radio first. It's the first board that actually has to mount in the back here. Okay. So we unplug this, put the board in. We then put the baseboard in, or the motherboard, or whatever you want to call it. We then put that in, and then we can mount some things, because we've got things wired from this board to here. Righto. Okay, let me find a spot. Where is this going to go, guys? It's got to be able to see a blue LED. And there he is. Okay, a little bit of glue in there just to hold everything in place. I have got the holder on there, the locking mechanism for the LED, and there's the front of him. Almost looks like part of the whole thing, doesn't it? So yeah, I think that'll be pretty good. I think it'll be okay. And well, the phones, yeah, still use them. So, and I'm sure he's not going to use the second pair. Righto, let's get on with it. Let's get this thing together and get it out of here. Now, our little white lever is in there, and we do have to lift him up a bit, which is one of the switches here stopping us from doing that. There we go. Okay, that's about it, guys. And there is an indexing post there, just on the centre, so we know we're in the right position once that goes in. And of course, it keeps falling down. I'm going to get a screw in this so it doesn't move, and come back and we'll put the baseboard in. Right, that's got our board in and secure. Now, guys, with this one, there is some holes around the outside, but the big long screws from the front to the back go through those. So there's only that little screw there and this little screw here, either side of our plugs, which, well, sockets. And now we'll put in our main board. And we've just got to slide this fella in, and he joins up with those sockets there. Okay, let's get him in. And, well, as you know, this took some getting out. It's probably not going to be that easy putting it in. And I'll do this bit, I'll push this one in. It's only a matter of getting it in, and you'll see what I'm doing then. There we go, almost there. There. And if you can see those little plugs down there, yeah, they're all flush, which is good. Okay, so that's right in, far as it goes. And now I can release some of this stuff, and we can actually get some of this gear mounted up here. Now, that's the two wires for our LED at the front. They can go, well, around the corner, or up over here, or somewhere in around the corner here. Okay, let's have a look at the front. Here we go. Now, it looks like there's a couple of recesses here for the screw holes. Okay, now guys, I've got to make up a little plastic L bracket for this fella, so he sits down in there, and we can, well, route the wires there. And, well, this fella, he can sort of just sit in out of the road. We've got heat shrink all around him, so nothing bad can happen there. Okay, so I'll do that. I'll be back. Well, guys, I'm going to call it quits for this video, that's for sure. She's gone on a while. Now, it's all working. I've had it, well, temporarily working. I can't put any more of this together. Like, I can't get the front on here, this front board. I can't do any of the more knobs. I can't put the back on. I can't put any more of this together until we get this bit done. Now, this needs belts, and, well, we've got a missing supply reel. As the customer said, if we can't find it, just leave it, and he'll just fast forward tapes. Not ideal, but it does work. It's worked for him in the past, so it's just, if we can find something for him, we'll get it working. Otherwise, check the whole deck out, make sure everything's working. And as I said, there's a flat belt in there that needs replacing. There's a counter belt, which, yeah, he's not real good. And looks like the rewind fast forward belt. Actually, I think there's 4 belts in this, just looking at it there. So this deck is a whole video by itself. I'm not going to include it on the end of this one. I've cut out probably about 4 hours so far. So yeah, I wanted to show you what these are like, and what to do if you're doing one. These are a very, very popular unit, and well, as I've said before, sounds $1 million with Bluetooth. We've got the levels exactly right. Everything's right. So there you go. We'll be back, well, fairly shortly. I've got to keep going with this thing, being a customer's job. We'll be back when I'm doing the cassette deck. I'll show you what I do, what size belts, everything about it. So, okay, that's about all I can tell you about it. If you like this long series, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done already. And, well, we'll see you on the next one. Won't be far away. Bye for now.